Mori Mai. Today's poem is Ulysses by Tennyson, one of Tennyson's most famous poems. It's a long poem. It's a difficult poem to get your arms around. Um, Ostensibly, it's a uh, treatise on wanderlust, really, spoken through the voice of the Grecian hero Ulysses, who has, after the Trojan War, retired to govern the island of Ithaca. And after a while, he's very unhappy with his lot there. He has a great yearning to go back out on the road. The poem is kind of broken into three verses. They're very difficult verses to scan in many respects. It's kind of written as a form of blank verse. There isn't really any real structure to it. The actual line endings are just kind of carriage returns. They don't necessarily mean that, they don't necessarily mark punctuation or, glottal stops or whatever. So it is a challenge to read. It's broken into three verses. The first verse tells, it's kind of, I view it as like an internal monologue. Ulysses is talking really to the air about how unhappy he is. He talks about, the savage race that the people of Ithaca are. He's he speaks unkindly of his wife, Penelope. He calls her an aged wife. And in the second verse, I think he's introducing his son, who he is going to leave the island to because he's planning on a one final voyage. So it's kind of the structure is very kind of diplomatic. It's as if, he for example he changes the savage race from the first verse into a rugged people. So it's a much more officious and couched tone. And then the third verse is, I view it very much as him standing on the port, addressing his mariners, imploring them to join him on this last heroic quest. And it's a verse that kind of comes and goes a little bit. It's the hardest verse to read of the three, but towards the end it kind of hits this kind of almost rhythmic tattoo, and the last few lines are very rousing, and in many ways what this poem is known for. So I'm going to be doing this from memory, so I may get some stuff wrong. It's well worth a read, and I apologize if I don't do it justice. But this is Ulysses by Tennyson. It little profits that an idle king by this still hearth among these barren crags, matched with an aged wife, I meet and dole unequal laws unto a savage race that hoard and sleep and feed and know not me. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times that I have enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both of those that love me and alone, on shore, and when through scudding drifts the rainy Hyades vex the dim sea. I am become a name for always roaming with a hungry heart. Much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments, myself not least, but honoured of them all, and drunk delight of battle with my peers, far away on the ringing plains of windy Troy. I am a part of all I've met, and yet all experience is an arch, wherethrough gleams that untravelled world whose margin fades forever and forever when I move. How dull it is to pause, to make an end, to rust unburnished, not to shine in use, as though To breathe were life, life piled on life were all too little and of one to me. Little remains, but every hour saved of that eternal silence. Something more, a bringer of new things, and violets were for some 3 suns to store and hoard myself, and this grey spirit, yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star unto the utmost bounds of human thought. This is my son, mine own Telemachus, to whom I leave the sceptre and the isle, well loved of me, discerning to fulfill this labour by slow prudence to make mild a rugged people, and through soft degrees subdue them to the useful and the good. Most blameless is he, centered in the sphere of common duties, decent, not to fail this office of tenderness, and pay meet adoration to my household gods when I am gone. He works his work, I mine. There stands the port, the vessel puffs her sail. There gloom the dark broad seas. My mariners, souls that have toiled and thought and wrought with me, that ever with a frolic welcome took the thunder and the sunshine, you and I are old. Old age hath yet its honour and its toil. Death closes all, but something ere the end, some work of noble note could yet be done, not unbecoming men that strove with gods. The lights start to twinkle on the rocks. The long day wanes, the slow moon climbs, the deep moans round with many voices. Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world. Push off, and sitting well in order, smite the sounding furrows, for my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars until I die. It may be that the gulf will wash us down. It may be that we will touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew. Though much is taken, much abides, and though we are not now that strength that in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, one equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield.